I was a big fan of Warhammer Quest, the card game, but sadly that one disappeared when Fantasy Flight lost the Warhammer license. So I was super happy when I found out that the Sadler brothers were coming back with Heroes of Terrinoth using the same basic game system. The question is, do those old mechanics still work? Is this new game an evolution of the old design? Let's find out and discuss 5 things about Heroes of Terrinoth. In Heroes of Terrinoth, players control between 2 to 4 heroes, each from one of 4 classes. Each hero has 4 activation cards in 4 types, with different effects they can apply. During a scenario, they can upgrade these activation cards into advanced activation cards with stronger effects. Players play one of 8 scenarios. On a player's turn, they'll activate one of their activation cards to execute its effect. They'll roll a certain number of hero dice as indicated by the activation card, as well as 1 enemy die for each enemy they're currently engaged with. They'll count up the number of successes rolled, including possible success tokens spent on the action, and this will let them perform effects according to the activation cards, such as attacking or exploring their location. They might also get attacked or face other effects because of the enemy dice results. After all heroes have activated, players will take turns selecting enemies to activate, following a simple AI script for each one. They'll then enter the peril phase, where a peril token will advance, often triggering special effects unique to the scenario being played. Finally, they'll enter the travel phase, where they'll face effects from the location they're currently occupying, and possibly advance to a new location if they've progressed enough. If the players can complete the victory conditions of their scenario before they are all defeated or trigger a different ending condition, they win the game. My first point for Heroes of Terrinoth is a pro, and those are the enemy cards in the game. Between their damage value, armor, and health, their basic statistics often vary wildly. Additionally, their effects when they activate are incredibly simple to execute, but also give each of them a unique feel. It's nice that so many scenarios randomize the enemies you'll use so that as you buy expansion packs that will surely be coming, the game will change even more. My next point is also a positive, and that's the success tokens you can gain and use on your activations. Many abilities will allow a hero to gain these tokens, primarily the aid action available to every class. Up to 2 of them may be applied to an activation before rolling the dice, and they are simply added to the successes rolled. It's a simple mechanic, but gives players a resource to manage and a way to mitigate their luck on their most important die rolls. Additionally, because the aid action can only be applied to other heroes and not yourself, it gives the game some more cooperative elements. We've got 3 pros in a row, my next one being the scenarios themselves. The scenarios are pretty varied in enemies, locations, and encounters. They also each have their own nemesis, which are even more different than the already mentioned enemies. But the most unique part of the scenarios are the peril effects, which can be as simple as spawning more enemies and letting heroes upgrade their cards, or as complex as making turn-to-turn choices on which way you'll fight a major battle. Heck, they even have a scenario where you're fighting a dragon caught in a time loop, forced to repeat your steps over and over again. How crazy is that? All in all, even though some players of Warhammer Quest the card game might be sad that there's no campaign option here, I find the varied scenarios quite compelling. We finally get to a point that's not a pro, and those are the activation cards you use on a turn-by-turn basis. On a positive note, there are some interesting tactical choices to be made in deciding which card to activate each turn of the game. The cards also encourage a lot of cooperation, with the ability to boost each other, pull enemies off of each other, heal each other, and all kinds of effects. On the negative side, though, the rest action is fairly dull, and even though it's supposed to be there to untap all the rest of the actions, because when all 4 of your actions are tapped, they all immediately untap at the beginning of your turn, you can often circumvent using the rest action altogether, making it a bit of a miss. Additionally, while it is cool to have unique upgrade cards for each class, and even subclasses within each of them, there aren't that many varied effects that the cards can achieve. You'll end up feeling like you're seeing the same basic actions happen over and over. My final point is another pro, but it's a bit of an odd one, and that's how the dice are used in the game. There's no true, complete blank result. Even the worst miss still gives you some defense against enemy attacks. Additionally, you have a critical hit that allows you to re-roll the die, potentially getting critical after critical and getting huge results. I kind of wish that all dice games use dice like these. The critical results make the game so exciting, and also you never feel like you've completely wasted your turn because even the worst results still give you something. Add on the enemy dice that give you basic effects but also make you feel the pressure of being surrounded by enemies as their attacks pile up on you, and you really have a great feeling to the game just because of the 6 very basic dice used. Overall, I've been really enjoying my plays of Heroes of Terrinoth. It does feel like an improvement on the older Warhammer Quest card game design. We have more character variety, more scenario variety, and of course the promise of more expansions on the horizon to improve all of that. I will say it's a fairly straightforward and simple game, which can be good or bad depending on what you're looking for. It's a quick and fun experience, and as long as you're not missing the campaign mode too much, I think you can have a lot of fun with it. Good gaming, everyone!